our captain, winner of the Super Bowl. Give it up for Gutfeld!
That is right. I won the Super Bowl. All right.
Let's get to it. A fiend kills 17 in Florida. I won't mention his name. You're not going to see his picture. Him. Instead, let's focus on helpful action. Here are some things I'd suggest to do to reduce these events. Number one, we need to harden soft targets with security and training. This should be a trillion-dollar industry, one that helps protect against not just mass shooters, but terrorists as well. An industry that's already used by tech giants, entertainment, and media entities should be bigger than all of them combined. It makes sense. Number two, we need a new motto. Fact, this punk had a zillion red flags. The FBI were tipped off, and they blew it. So no more see something, say something. Instead, give me see something, say something, now do something. The problem is, no side in this debate trusts each other. If you say you want common sense gun laws, the other side knows that's code for something else. If you say you want your gun rights protected, the other side calls you a killer. So here's a suggestion. Think offensively. The mistake we make is to think defensively. You know, how do we rig the system to stop perps from getting guns? That's wrong. You need to think offensively. How do we tag the perps and keep them from getting guns? We want law-abiding folks to have access, not the bad eggs. Do you see the difference? We need a database where a creep like this fits in perfectly based on testimony from cops, students, school officials, who then get a judge to issue a civil court order. If you're in this base, no gun. And liberals, no more whining about mass incarceration. You violate the database, you get a felony hit, mandatory time. Number three, bring back psychiatric hospitals. They still exist, but state-run facilities house less than 1/10 of the patients that they did back in the 50s. That's a 95% decline. How is that possible? You're telling me that we have fewer insane people now than we did in the 50s? Have you watched TV? That's nuts. Mind you, this last fiend might not be nuts, but a score-settling nihilist. And that speaks to a greater issue, one that the media indulges. And it's my last point, infamy. If you look at these mass killers, you'll find an interest in those who came before them. And our relentless coverage caters to that. And so we keep showing the face of the fiend over and over and over as we dig deeper into his life, which the media repeats because, you know, you gotta fill space. But this coverage only creates more monsters. We advertise infamy, creating incentive for the next attack. Look, we are all vulnerable to persuasion. If not, why do we have advertising? We know fiends study press clippings of past fiends. We know that when a teenage suicide is covered, it always triggers more. News coverage magnifies the impact, and that becomes catnip to others. So, imagine the power that this fiend has over us to command every network to abide by his actions, to foment chaos and make us question our very own safety, to make all of us know his past, his deep thoughts. What kind of power does this fiend have over us? It's a power that we give him at a terrible cost.
Period.
Let's welcome tonight's guests. When the going gets tough, the tough get shit. Terry Shepard, retired Special Forces Master Sergeant. Terry Shepard. He's 50% bold, 50% beautiful actor and author Sean Kanan. Hey. She's zany, brainy, and loves it when it's rainy. National Review reporter Kat Timpf. And big rigs are his roller skates. Former bodyguard, massive sidekick, Kyrus. This has been an ugly week, Terry, no question about it. And we seem to get here and we go through these stories a lot.
Frequently.
Yeah, and I'm curious about you. You are around guns all the time. You've been in combat. I'm interested in what your perspective is.
Yeah, well, this hurts everybody. I mean, one thing that's really bothers me is as soon as this happens, everyone's like, you want to see kids dead, or you don't care about this. This is the worst thing that can happen. And yeah, I'm 25 years almost in Special Forces. I fight over there, so we don't have to have this happen. So it's really, it galls me. I've always said this, and you've got some great stuff, Tyrus, we talked about later. I'm going to let him hit this, but I've always been willing to have a conversation with people who are suspicious of guns. I'm a Second Amendment guy, obviously. I'm willing to sit down and talk to someone about this, but they've got to be at least honest. They've got to be at least factually correct, and they've got to have it in good faith. And I think you're right. You have these two sides now that anytime I hear exactly what you said, sensible gun, I said, well, who's the one making that sensible decision? America is guns, man. It's a gun country. Something's wrong about not the guns. It's something wrong about all the other things. And that's all I can say about that.
There's a combination of factors, but when a Republican hears sensible gun laws, they think that they're opening the door to something else. And then if you say First Amendment, then immediately they think, oh, you're just you know, a
every
crazy.
Every time.
Sean, you're a dad, so this probably, when you see this kind of stuff, it's got to be.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, here we are 1 month after the shooting in Kentucky, and this is a tragedy that touches all of us. And, you know, like Terry said, I'm a Second Amendment proponent as well, but you know, here's the thing. Very few things in life are black and white. They're nanoshades of gray. And, you know, one of my nanoshades of gray is I just don't feel an 18-year-old kid outside of training in the military needs to have an assault rifle like that. You know, and we have to start having an honest conversation about this. I mean, you hit so many great points in your monologue about things that need to be done that shouldn't be politicized by either side. You know, they're just good common sense.
Yeah. It's interesting because the difference in guns and the idea of age is an important factor that I've been thinking about. The fact that, you know, you should have an experience, like have a gun license for 10 years, and then you get this because it gets you to become an older adult. And older men are different than younger men. And it's biological, it's hormonal, and maybe that's one solution. Kat, you know, we talk about the bifurcation of politics. The two loudest voices are often the ones we hear most. Is there any way that somebody ever gives an inch on this?
No, I really don't think so. And if you talk about banning certain kinds of weapons, rifles of any kind were responsible for only 3% of homicides in 2016. It's very rare for something like this to happen. Of course, that doesn't make anyone feel better when a tragedy like this happens. But I'm going to do something really crazy, which I have not heard anybody do yet, and I'm going to blame this shooting on the shooter. I'm going to say that it was his fault.
But he showed remorse, Kat. Remember, remember after his lawyer says he showed. Yes. We've said that word 3 times now. Our censors are going to be upset. All right, Tyrus, we were talking in the green room that you had your own solutions.
Well, this is coming from a place of being executive security, and for a short stint, I was a teacher. It wasn't bad, just pay grade. So it wasn't really funny. And when I was listening to this, because of course, first of all, if we outlawed guns tomorrow, no more guns in this country, all you would do would be opening the business market for the black market. Just like we said, no drugs, and drugs still get pushed in this country, and then we have no idea what was out there. So that's just not who we are. We have freedom of speech, and we're going to have guns. That's what our country's built on. But when 9/11 happened, the planes hit the towers, airports were changed forever. We got the TSA. Our children are getting hit. It's time to change the schools forever. And there is a population out there, and I checked, they didn't have the new stats out, but last year's stats was 4.3% unemployment for returning veterans in this country. That's 435,000 trained men who have eyes and ears. We need to have them at the schools. TSA needs to be at the schools. One way in, one way out. We have dogs. There's not one person in this building who will say, up my taxes $25, whatever it needs to be, $1 trillion. It's a business. I would even take money away from other things. Because the only way we need to get with it, because now it's guys with guns. 10 years from now, it's going to be guys with a drone. It's going to be guys with a remote control robot. And who's better? When I'm at the airport and I see a guy with an M16 and a German Shepherd dog walking by smelling stuff, I'm not worried about nothing. And I would like my children
I'm
to be
worried.
the same way.
The dog bothers me.
And you know what?
Especially if I'm-
But you know what? The reason why that dog bothers you, because you immediately go, I don't got nothing on me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm cool. I will take that, and it needs to happen in our school. We TSA, we protect our airports. Although a different name TSA, but let's protect our children.
That's a good idea, man.
It's doable.
That's a good idea.
It can be done. Let's do it.
It is. I mean, obviously, there is the argument that what kind of society have we become that we are actually having to protect? That we have to do that. Well,
we're being an honest society now.
We're an honest society.
Let's be big boys. Let's keep it real.
We have 320 million people. That's a huge haystack. We've got so many variables, technology, and this disaffected youth, and all sorts of. People are changing, and you bring up the idea of drones. In terms of people who want to create mayhem, terrorists, or mass shooters, the idea of marrying a drone with any kind of bio agent, this is
terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying, and it may happen probably in our lifetimes, I would think.
You know, there's another aspect to this. I mean, obviously, this is going to take a multi-pronged approach to deal with this. And one thing that I think we need to talk about is the nexus between social network platforms and law enforcement. Because for me, it's really egregious that there's language this kid was using on Facebook, and they've got all these algorithms to get us to buy this. They know when we come from Olive Garden, and they say, you know, how was your experience there? And they can see something like, hey, I want to be a professional school shooter, and those jackasses can't report that to law enforcement.
This is such a good. We got to go, but this is so funny. If I decide for 10 minutes to look for mattresses for the next month, all I have all over my computer are mattresses.
Sure, Greg, it's mattresses.
It's not mattresses.
It's not mattresses. But
Greg was looking at mattresses.
But Sean's right. They know everything about us. They know everything about us.
Young mattresses.
It's an easy.
In heels.
All right, but it's true. There is an algorithm for everything, and they could solve that. That's such a good point. All right, don't go anywhere. Russia collusion delusion suffers a serious setback. That's next. Were we rushing to conclusions that Americans were colluding? We don't deserve laughter. Robert Mueller's special counsel's office charged 13 Russian nationals with interfering in the 2016 election. I hope one of them wasn't Yakov Smirnov. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein laid out the charges on Friday. According to the indictment, these Russians posed as socially and politically active Americans. They advocated for and against particular candidates. They set up online group pages. They bought ad space on social media platforms. Hilariously, I love this, they created groups to support President Trump's election, and then they created groups to protest his election. They are the Earth's trolls. They're like a jerky friend trying to break up a loving couple, and that couple is America. Damn Russians, they attempted to sow discord and undermine faith in our democracy, the jerks. But what about Americans, Rod? What did we do? And did these Russians affect the outcome of the election?
Now, there is no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant. There is no allegation in the indictment that the charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election.
My God, I think he just put MSNBC out of business. We go live to their newsroom for comment. All right. Bottom line, no Americans were knowing participants yet. But you knew that all along, didn't you, little lamb? Yeah! A lamb that said yeah. Oh, God, I love that. So, Kat, the Dems' response is, yeah, but not yet. It's not over yet. I've heard that like 6 times yesterday on Friday.
Well, it's not, I guess, technically over yet.
What are you trying to say, Kat?
I don't know. I mean, look, this proves that there was Russian meddling in the election, and I think that we need to do all we can to stop it for 2 reasons. One, to protect the integrity of our nation's election process.
True.
And 2, to protect me from ever having to talk about this ever again.
It really is. It's endless. It's
Yeah.
and by the way, we knew that Russians.
Yeah.
How old are we?
Yeah,
Pirates.
I saw this story and I was like, why is this on all day?
Yeah,
I didn't do this.
I grew up watching Boris Badenoff and Natasha.
yeah.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Rocky Bullwinkle. We knew Russians. They were always meddling in that cartoon, Tyrus.
Right.
Always meddling.
Look,
They
the
were,
worst
though.
part of this, somebody got catfished.
Yeah.
They weren't trading Russian secrets.
Yes, that's true.
There's some first-year temps and interns on both campaigns going, oh God, please.
Yes.
I thought
we were in
she
love.
loved me. I thought he loved me. Like all this is very bad for Facebook, and this is bad for the social media sites because this is where they did their thing. This is not, it doesn't do with Donald Trump. Man, I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm really embarrassed about that.
Okay.
Sorry guys, this is important. Maybe it's my mom. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, they're here. Okay, I'll tell them. Wow, it's awkward. Judas Priest wants his pants back.
By the way, just so you know, that is my favorite band. You didn't even know that.
Why am I not
No,
surprised?
actually, I did know that.
I got no issues with the pants. I think we should
I
all
have
express
issues.
ourselves how we want to.
I know Rob Halford wouldn't have any issues. All right, Terry.
Yeah. You want to talk about something real? You want to keep yeah, okay,
That was-
Tyrus. By the
that
way,
was nice.
like I didn't see that coming. As soon as he goes, oh wait, I got a phone ringing. I'm
It could have been my mom. It's been years.
Dude, no. I saw the looks you were giving me in the green room. I knew it was coming. What do you want to know?
I want to play this sound on tape. Who is the real winner in all this? A guy whose name rhymes with mitt.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because, you know, the Cold War has been over for 20 years.
Isn't it amazing how now they're Cold Warriors?
It's also funny that when President Obama was talking about Russia and, you know, our Middle Eastern enemies, he sucked at both of them. You know, all this stuff happened. So much of this happened while President Obama was running the ship, and we know that. And I think it's interesting, though, that the timing of this. Mr. Rosenstein. Is it Rosenstein? Rosenstein?
I don't know.
Whatever.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. It doesn't matter. He releases it now.
Good-looking guy, though.
He actually basically, it's almost like they had to back off of this investigation, which we all knew, tired of talking about it. But because also the FBI has so much egg on their face. I mean, they've gotten so many, they're hammered. So they have to walk away from this because I think if they stay in it, we're going to find out even more missing texts and emails and secret communiques and stuff like that.
By the way, how are we going to get these guys? Aren't they in Russia?
The other thing, by the way, at first, wait a minute, what was it? 13 dudes? Is that really, is that a threat to our democracy?
Like a club.
It's a club.
A little high school club.
I mean, it almost sounds like
It's not the 13 dudes. It's the 25 interns' hearts they broke. That's the real.
Okay.
That's the real
It's so easy. It's happened to me many times.
Yeah, we've all been catfished.
Yes.
Everyone knows it.
Sean, what are your thoughts on this? Are you surprised that it's, I mean, the Dems are going to make this into, like, this is collusion, even though it's meddling. Meddling is one way, collusion is two ways.
I don't think anybody is negating the fact that the Russians meddled in our elections, but there is an astronomical difference between meddling in our elections and collusion by the Trump administration. And this has been conflated since the get-go. And hopefully, Deputy AG Rosenstein's statement is going to put a nail in the coffin of this straw man argument that they've been using.
I don't know. I don't know. The one thing I find interesting is that the reason why people see this as a huge threat is because of it's hacking.
Yeah.
And so when people hear hacking, they think, oh, my God. But this is no different than spying in the 70s. This is that TV show, The Americans, on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
You know, instead of wearing disguises and hanging out in Washington parks, you know, where they got a mustache,
Right.
the woman has a
Hold the
mustache.
newspaper.
They're holding up the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now it's on Twitter.
Yeah, right
They're
on.
just playing the same roles. And I honestly think it's for Russians, it's nothing personal. This is their golf.
Yeah. That's really great. This is what they do.
This is what they do.
This is what they do.
You know,
Espionage and
espionage is like nothing.
subversion
This is, I mean, The country's run by an ex-KGB guy.
Also, please, nobody have any be under any illusion that the U.S. doesn't do this in other
We
places.
do the exact same thing
all the time.
All governments do this.
Yeah,
all the time.
And by the way, it's mistaken to think that it's actually an offensive act. It's sometimes defensive. Like, you send people over, spies over, just to see what somebody's up to. You hack to see what something's up to.
Right.
It's not. It's a mistake to accuse a country of attacking when it's actually. I mean, some of them do attack, but I mean, they're not all. It's so weird that the people that were not cold warriors then are now. When Russia is 1/8 the size of the USSR, now they're worried. It drives me crazy. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s when they were telling me I was full of crap.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the other thing is they have so much. There's a lot of people have so much invested in that.
Yes.
The Dems and the media.
This
has been going on for how long?
It is. You know what it is?
So they're not going to let go of this bone that quickly.
For MSNBC, the whole Russian collusion thing is like you've been binge watching Stranger Things, right? And it's like you don't want it to end. Or else
it's like Deadwood.
Yeah, it's like
Remember
Deadwood.
the series Deadwood HBO? We were all watching it. Like, yeah, man, and they just canceled it.
Done.
Yeah, they
now what?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is like the greatest, you know.
But it's our
binge watching.
arrogance.
Yeah.
The fact that they can't look. Russia didn't need President Trump's help. Didn't need Hillary's. They just let's throw some stuff and see what they do. Look,
now we got to do it to them. That's how spies work. All right, up next, the congressman that just trolled Nancy Pelosi, and he may save us some money to boot. I think I love this guy platonically. You know, it's rare to find a politician with a sense of humor. You'd have better luck finding an army sergeant in leather pants. So I tip my imaginary hat to Republican Rep Todd Rokita from Indiana, who's unveiled a bill that would make those bonuses given out due to the tax cuts tax-free. So workers will get to keep more of the money they received on bonuses up to $2,500 bucks. Now, before you call that extra cash crumbs, realize he's called the bill Creating Relief and Useful Middle-Class Benefits and Savings. Or crumbs for short. So, I wonder what he's trying to say to Nancy Pelosi. So, by all means, my bitter but rich liberal friends, call these crumbs from crumbs crumbs, but you end up looking like a crumb yourself. The belief that such bonuses are a joke because you deem them not large enough, well, if you think they're so small, why don't you give them out yourself, you jackasses? Bottom line, Dems only like wealth spreading when they're doing it with your money. The no tax is too large, they'll take the last dime. So far, nearly 350 companies have offered bonuses and so on to workers. We're talking billions, and they're not taken from other people's pockets. No wonder the Democrats hate it.
Right. Period.
Cyrus, that was pretty clever, huh? Pretty clever, crumbs. Good for a Republican, huh? I have a low bar.
Hey, listen, that's a high bar, and there's nothing worse than anyone who's ever been in an argument with somebody to say something and then have them flip it back on you. You know,
Yes.
like if your wife asks you if she's gaining any weight, and you go, yeah, a little bit. And then 2 weeks later, you'll be like, hey, you think you got time for tonight? A little bit. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats just don't get it. There was deplorables. Crumbs.
Yeah.
Until you learn how to insult to where they can't use it back, maybe they need to take a page out of the President Trump's handbook on insults, because usually when he hits you with something, you can't recycle it.
Yeah.
They literally, the Democrats need to change the name to the alley-oop party, because all they do is throw it up, and the Republicans like, wow. I mean, it's just.
Kat, this tax bill has immediately improved people's lives, right? So how can people say this is bad? I don't know.
Because they always find a way, don't they?
That is true.
But people don't really care about that if they have more money in their pockets. And I love the title of this bill. I think it's amazing to see someone be that petty. That comment was the worst. I thought the longer you do stuff, what I hear, you're supposed to get better at it as time goes on. And Nancy Pelosi just seems to be getting worse and worse. I don't even know where she is right now.
And wasn't Nancy Pelosi the one who was, she was touting that everyone got a $40
that's right.
tax a few months ago, or something like that.
Money.
I mean, it just goes to show how utterly out of touch she is.
$1,000, even in New York, is 100 beers.
But you want to know something? On a serious note, though, here's the thing that's really disturbing: that we're at the point now where the left would really rather not see the middle class benefit at the hands of the GOP doing something positive.
That's true.
You know, they would rather just chastise it. And
that's true.
You know, this is something that's a boon to the middle class, and it's only going to get better
because it came from the other side.
Exactly.
So even if you offer a path to citizenship, which is what the Democrats have been screaming about, but it's coming from Trump, they reject it. They reject it. 1.7 million people are able to stay here and they go, oh my God, it's terrible. It goes, wait a minute, if Hillary did that, you guys would be rolling in your own filth. Terry, speaking of filth,
speaking of rolling in filth.
Yes. By the way, you have little strings on the side of your leather pants. I didn't notice that. It's like if you can, it's like
laced up.
I don't think you're supposed to wear anything underneath these leather pants.
What do you mean underneath them?
All right.
You thought he got something underneath that? It was a team of scientists and fashion models that got him on. I'm looking. Those are not pants. Those are skinny pants.
It's a crew-served weapon. Let's move on.
Yes. You know, I thought that we should have more acronyms. I came with.
By the way, I was going to say, I'm an Army guy, so lots of acronyms. You got one? What do you
have want aliens to love life. Wall.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's quality. Acronym.
I'm not happy about this. We're negotiating unity, Korea, else.
No.
Yeah,
that's
not
that
okay.
good.
I'm not good at this.
We spent some time to work on it. But it is.
That's a nice way of saying it sucked.
When everybody came out and said this is crumbs, they just keep showing their hand. It's like just if they were smart, they would have just shut up and said, "Oh man, they got us again. They gave people money, but they can't." And they just look bad. I don't know. They're just not good at this. You're right. Nancy Pelosi's getting worse. Worse.
It's the afternoon brandies. I'm pretty sure.
The afternoon brandies.
Scotch with no water.
Some might say deteriorating.
Yeah.
But it also shows kind of the difference in mindset of Dems and Republicans when the Dems frame it and the media frames it as reducing taxes, you're stealing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's actually not stealing. That's reducing taxes is good, but they really do believe that that's what it is.
Fair point, Captain Leather. Yeah. Never seen a cow look so good.
They're just pants, dude. I mean,
no, they're not.
They're not just pants, Terry.
They're just pants, Greg.
You guys are all forgetting that Terry can kill you with the story. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I want you to know, too.
Karate Kid 3 or not, you can only be so tough next to a Green Beret. So,
and I did have
you
a
go
special
with those pants, man.
Listen, he's allowed to find himself. Do your thing, bro. I'm embracing.
I do not. Greg, stop this show now. Let's just move on.
There are pants that make one pant.
Yes.
Up next. Don't clap for that. I already feel terrible. Winter Olympics. The only thing Russia isn't meddling in these days. Am I right? I love the Olympics. It's so Olympian. Except when the media fell in love with Lil' Kim's Lil' Sis and wrote those glowing headlines. Kim Jong-un's sister turns on the charm, taking Pence's spotlight. Blab the New York Times. The diplomatic dance, if it were an event at the Winter Olympics, Kim Jong-un's younger sister would be favored to win the gold, says CNN stupidly. I'm gonna puke, said Greg Gutfeld. I did say that. I said that. All right. North Korea is a murderous regime. The media knew their propaganda was coming, and they fell for it anyway. Other than that, I'm loving the Olympics. But get this, as a guy who works for Fox, I'm not allowed to use any of the footage because NBC owns the rights to the games. So much like when athletes go on strike, I have to find replacement footage for all the events I want to talk about, like curling. I mean, it's just mesmerizing to watch. You got the stone, you got the broom. I don't really get the scoring, but when it's on, I can't look away. And then, of course, bobsledding. You know, they go down that icy track so fast. Takes nerves of steel to compete in that sport. As a viewer, I think it's the element of danger that makes it so exciting to watch, for me anyway. And the couples ice dancing. The precision, the synchronization, the technique. And when I watch, I always wonder, are they a couple? Or is it strictly business because they have such chemistry? How come they don't get dizzy and fall down from all those triple axels? And then there's swimmer Ryan Lochte making his Winter Olympics debut.
She's cute.
Nailed it. That's gold for me. All right, Sean, thoughts on the Olympics?
Well, it's nice to see the politics in the playing field are alive and well in South Korea. I mean, the thing that's so hypocritical.
Wait. You know what, Karate Kid 3 villain?
What?
You're a Karate Kid 3 villain. You should like this because every sporting event needs a villain.
This is true. We have a great one now in the Olympics. But the thing is, she's the media darling.
Yes, that's true.
This is such hypocrisy because, they're lauding her as stealing the Olympics. And meanwhile, President Trump is getting lambasted for his bromance with Putin, supposedly.
Yeah,
and it just seems like it's,
Again, you pierce through the miasma of my questioning to find a solution. All right, LPG, what do you think?
LPG. What does LPG stand for, Greg?
Leather pants guy.
Oh. I knew that. I wanted him to say it. Yeah. North Korea, prison camp run by a cartel. Fabulous.
Yeah.
And I just, it was funny to watch the meet. By the way, and I just forgot his name. I feel terrible. There's an active duty Green Beret on the bobsled team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's from 10th Group. Yeah, hey, bud, good luck. I haven't been following on the track.
Tyrus, feel free to weigh in on any part of the Olympics.
Well, in his defense, the pants are cutting the circulation off, so the memory's going. Once he gets those off, he'll remember your name, so don't sweat it. I'm sorry, am I missing something? Did she give this dazzling speech?
No.
Yeah. Was like everyone was crying like, wow, it's really deep? Or is she standing there looking like, save me?
Yeah.
Is that? Because she just kind of sits there, right? If I miss, I mean.
No, that was it. That was it.
Isn't she also the head of propaganda?
And agitation.
Sometimes in this country, we fall in love with people who want to kill us.
Yeah, it's so true.
But she literally sits.
Yeah. And yet our media favored her over
God,
Mike Pence. The media said that she stole the spotlight from Pence. She was probably trying to steal food.
You know what they're doing? They're literally sealing her death threat. He's going to be like, oh, they like her better than me? Someone getting poisoned when they get home.
Actually, that's true. That might be true, dude.
But, back to the Olympics, and I think only the North and South Koreans are watching it because there's no one in the stands. Yeah. And they're not leaving because there's food and a chance to get out. So they're going to literally stay for every event.
Do you think it's because it's like the events only have small groups at the events, so the stadiums just look huge? I was wondering that myself.
No, I mean, it literally looks like 7 people in hungry Koreans running around.
It's also really cold.
I belong to a group, Hard Knock South. Every Winter Olympics, we get assigned curling teams.
Right.
And it's we bet. And this year I got assigned Japan. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I think, Kat, I believe that all Olympics should be held in America so we can watch it in our superior time zones. No?
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of it, though.
Really? You're lying.
No, I'm serious. I like the ice skating because sometimes they fall down.
Yes.
And I'm like, haha, your dream's dead.
Oh, wow. You're a sad, sick person.
I know. Yeah.
Scott is terrible.
Such a little troll.
To root for the suffering.
I would be sitting on my couch like, I made a lot of mistakes today, but at least I didn't make them in front of all these people, and my dream's not dead.
I forget you are on TV right now, and you have made mistakes.
I didn't make any mistakes today.
I don't know. Well, you didn't wear
on TV.
You didn't wear leather pants.
Oh.
Not this week. I did before.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. And now he's wearing them.
Yeah. They were the same pair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I let him borrow my pants. That's what I'm saying.
What is it? The traveling pants gimmick? Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Terry, you can't defend yourself. Up next. Now a robot can open a door right before it kills all of us. It's the opening of a door like we've never seen before. The newest video from the geniuses at Boston Dynamics shows their robots working together on their next step to world dominance. Watch and try not to have an accident. Chivalry isn't dead. It's just scary as All right. Meanwhile, near the Olympics in Pyeongchang, hope I said it right, experimental robots were given a shot at skiing. Guess they got a ways to go. Still, this raises the question, does this mean I will soon be able to live my dream of riding a robot pony to work? Or maybe, am I the robot? All right, let's go around the horn on this, Cat. Thoughts? Robot boyfriend. I always ask you about a robot boyfriend. Never going to stop. Perfect
I
for
love
you.
how every time there's a story about a robot, Greg says, now you can have a boyfriend. Cat doesn't have a boyfriend. I love coming to work. It's so nice. No, I don't care for this at all. I think it's scary.
All right.
I'm like, but why? For why? Why do they need to know how to open the doors? I'm fine with teaching them how to knock. That's what we should be doing, teaching them how to knock.
I didn't know you were in the shower.
Yeah,
I'll come
exactly.
back.
Why not teach them manners? They're just going to be barging in all of our doors. We don't have enough humans like that.
Mr. Gutfeld, why is your robe always open? Sean?
Also, I can get a human boyfriend if I want to.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Like his leather pants.
He's currently dating a toaster.
It's a choice.
Sean?
It's official. Skynet is ready to start its attack.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, leave it to the scientists to say, how do we take a cuddly, warm dog and make it better? Here's what we do. First thing we do is throw it on that cuddly, warm crap.
Yeah.
And we get cold, hard steel, and we get microchips. I guess on the upside is you don't have to feed the thing.
Right.
And it's not going to go to the bathroom, but I, for one, do not want to be around when RoboPup decides to use my leg as a prom date. So,
Yeah, that'll be ugly. Tyrus, you excited about this?
I just want to know why they made the last robot chubby. Did you see that? The poor little, like, shaming. I mean, damn, why he had to be the chubby one? He came out and fell over. There was, all the other robots was like, "With your fat, downloaded too much data. Look at him."
Maybe it's adolescent fat.
You know, I don't know.
Burn
It's a
off by
robot.
high school.
I just, like I said, the whole robot thing. I mean, for me, this is why I'll always walk around with a glass of water.
Shorted out.
Get your ass up out of here.
They're like witches in the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, robot's coming. Hold on, I got it.
They can come in when you're sleeping and stare at you while you sleep because they care.
Yeah.
That is caring.
That is caring. Staring at people when they sleep. It's a sign of caring. I often tell my psychiatrist that. Terry?
There's a fine line. I mean, we use a lot of robot. Well, you know, we have really pretty advanced drones now. We even have EOD robots that go in and disarm bombs. I've seen that. And what was really, I think, sketchy about that was the way they were cooperating. So now you have one. One robot killer is okay. We can handle one.
But
that's one glass of water.
Yeah.
But then you have 2 or 3 working as a squad. Or a team. You're done. The last thing they hear is you breathing behind that door, going, and then they open up and they come in and they kill you.
I thought that one robot was adorable, but kind of all hands. Hey, okay, so here's my theory. This is my theory on Boston Dynamics. This is the company that's making it. Every time this video is released, videos like these released, we try to contact them. They never respond. They never respond. So I believe that this company, Boston Dynamics, is fully run by robots who killed or enslaved their owners years ago, right? So they're running this. And the thing is, they're sending very old videos from like 1989. Like that video is actually 20 or 30 years old.
Oh, no.
So they're tricking us to think that they're only opening doors. It's like, and so we sit here, we're laughing. Oh, look, they're just opening doors. No, that's from 1988. So right now, Boston Dynamics is just trolling us, and they have a fleet of billions of toxic Stinger drones that they are ready to unleash on the population when they are ready. When they're going to wait until we're all laughing at them, and then it's going to be, wah!
That'll be it. It's actually that's a pretty cool movie idea.
No, it's a great movie idea, actually. But you think about it. They're sending these videos out, and we're all laughing at it, and we're all going, oh, it's no big deal. But it is actually a big deal. But these videos are old. They are already doing something else.
That's interesting if they're way ahead of it already.
Oh, yeah, they're way ahead. They're way ahead. This is just like, you know, it's like, you know, when you go on a dating profile and you put up a picture from you from like the 1980s when you weren't fat. That's Boston Dynamics.
Kat, did you hear that? There's dating profiles.
For robots. Final thoughts are next.
So good.
You like them. All right, we're almost out of time. I got time for one final thought. Terry?
So I had a break cramp, and it's actually Nate Weber from 10th Special Forces Group is competing in the bobsled race. Win, loser, you know, whatever medal you get, man. Deo Pressa Liber.
That's quite an achievement. One participates in the Olympics, and the other wears leather pants. Special thanks to Terry Shepard, Sean Kane, and Kat